What's up, everybody? I'm Hunter Larice. Recently, I've made a lot of content leading up to an antelope hunt that I got coming, and I've had a lot of questions about where I'm going, what I'm doing, what I'm using, and also I'm going to try to self-film the whole thing, and I can't tell you how many questions I've had about that. So I'm just going to go into a video and kind of run through everything kind of that's important for this upcoming hunt. So first and foremost, we'll talk about hunting gear. So I'm running the PSE Expedite, and it's an older model. It's 2019, the original Expedite. And the reason I haven't updated is because mainly in the past couple years, I've really focused on collegiate competition and just competition archery in general. So I never really made a ton of time to hunt like I want to now. And I haven't really, the only thing I've really killed with this bow is a coyote. So in my opinion, there's no point in upgrading. Like, I don't know. I feel like the bow hasn't been through its, cycle yet. Like, maybe once I bag a few animals with this thing, then we'll consider swapping to something more new. But a big switch that I've made this year is my sight. I am using the Tetra Rise by HHA, and originally I had a 3-pin hybrid sight. And I liked it, but this one's a 2-pin hybrid. But the reason I switched to it is because of the simplicity of it. It's only 2 pins on the inside, and you got your top pin and then your bottom pin, but they're both set pins. So on the dial, there's 2 marks that basically tell you what each of the pins are at every distance, versus the other sights like my 3-pin. You set them up and they're kind of just like only the top pin would matter. Like, you couldn't even use the second one when you dialed in. But I just really like the simplicity of this sight, and it's just built really well. And obviously the dovetail, and I'm a big fan of dovetails just because take them off whenever you travel or do whatever. But I do like this sight a lot. It's just simple. Another thing I've switched big this year, arrows. I am using the RIP TKOs by Victory. I really needed to upspine my bow because I was shooting a 340 before, and that just was way too weak for this bow. And I'm a little overspined at 250, but I mean, it's better to be overspined than it's underspined. So like, and honestly, like, the performance out of these, I mean, like 60 yards for putting baseball-sized groups in the target, and they're just great flying arrows. And I want to do something a little bit different too. I've never used Victory. And they come with 50 or it's either 50 or 60 grain inserts, but I'm using the 21s because I just wanted to push a little bit more speed out of these. And then with this bow and these arrows, they're pushing about 309, 311, somewhere in between or somewhere around there. And then I'm using the Boning X3 vanes. And I've used these for competition. I've used these for hunting, and I love them. They're nice and stiff. They fly straight. They're super quiet. That's a big one for me. And I mean, just the performance out of these, I love them. And then other than that, other big things I've really changed is just strings and switched up stabilizer weights. I'm going a little bit longer this year, a little bit heavier. I like a heavier bow just to compensate for the nerves, and it just holds like a rock. So another thing I've put my money towards this year is some new hunting gear. I needed some lightweight gear, and in Wyoming, I'm going to be hunting in a blind all day. So basically, I needed something that was dark and hidden. So I went with the Core hoodie, and it's just nice and lightweight. I mean, like I said, I went with the black just because if I'm going to be sitting in a blind, you don't want a pattern or be able to see motion, especially when I'm having camera gear and everything else with me in there. And then I also went with the Core long sleeve, lightweight, and I got a camo pattern just in case. I mean, deer hunting, always I need lightweight gear, but there's always that event you never know, and you might have to spot and stalk or something. I mean, there's no control over the animal. And then I also invested into the Accent pants. I think this is one of their lightest pants. And another thing with all this stuff is it's like quick dry material that when it comes to hunting, you don't want to smell. So when you're sweating, that kind of just ruins everything. And granted, there's wipes and scent killers and all this and that, but it's still like when you start sweating, you're smelling. Like, it's just part of it. But hopefully this stuff will kind of help and compensate for all that. And let's talk a little bit about camera gear now, because this is kind of the question that everybody's been not blowing me up over, but I've kind of recently got into the filming stuff, and I've just been really doing my research and figuring out what exactly I want. So the biggest thing is the camera. So I went with a Canon R7. It's a mirrorless camera, and for a minute, everybody was trying to convince me to get a full frame sensor, and I wanted that, and I do like the look of them, but for hunting wise, honestly, the APC sensor, I personally think's better for it, because it's a 1.6 times zoom basically on all your lenses, and not to mention you can use any lenses versus a full frame. You have to use a full frame lens. But like, for example, like on this hunt, I'm gonna really try and only bring 2 lenses, and I want to bring I rented a 24-70 and a 70-200, and honestly, that's probably a little overkill, but I just really want this to look as cinematic as possible. So, I rented those, and they're both Canon lenses, getting down to a 2.8 f-stop, blah, 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 whatever, none of that matters. But anyways, but because of that, like the 70-200, for example, with the APC sensor, it'll actually be more like you do the math, like a 100 to like 340, I think. Like, that would be the zoom on it. And for, archery wise, that's like way enough, because recently I just filmed with some guys to kind of test out one low light stuff, but also like just hunting situations in general with the camera. And I was running an 18-135, and this was a goose hunt, so obviously I needed like fast autofocus. I needed a good zoom range, because you just can't really tell, you don't know where they're gonna land. So I went with the 18-135, and honestly, the geese were landing like 60-70 yards out, some of them. But with the APC and that lens, and I don't even think I was zoomed in all the way, I could get a super clear picture of the geese, like super clear. And the camera also films in 4K, and it also films in 4K 60 frames, so that's like huge. So then I can go back later and, zoom into the footage and not lose quality, but also I can turn it into slow-mo if I wanted. And the camera's got a slow-mo function. Another thing I noticed too with the camera was, everybody says that APC is not as good at low light situations as full frame, but personally, I really didn't see a huge difference. And obviously the video is going to be a little bit grainy, but it wasn't like horrendous. And the shots I got the other night were pretty good. One thing I got though to help was an RGB light. It's just a little pod light. I got it on Amazon for like $30, and honestly, that really has helped a ton, because even in this video here, like, I can change the color and kind of get it the cinematic-y look that everybody likes. But then also, it kind of just amplifies the videos and photos I take a little bit more, and that light was actually a lot of help. So yeah, that's pretty much like my camera gear. If there's any more questions about hunting stuff or tips on how to video or anything like that, feel free to reach out. Give me a like and follow, and we'll let you know how this hunt goes. A little disclaimer: it's hard self-filming a hunt. It's hard self-filming in general, but a hunt is very hard. So I'm not going to sit here and promise that I'm going to capture the shot on camera. I can't even promise that I even hit it, to be honest, because there's anything can go wrong. But I'm going to do my best to come out with like a really good quality hunting video. And I really hope everybody enjoys it, and I hope everybody enjoys this video and finds it informational as well. Thanks for watching.